Good morning. This is Harlan. Welcome to our virtual breakfast meeting this morning. The topic today will be new chemical products for 2024. The slides and the presentation will be available for you at the end of the meeting. We'll tell you how to access those. I'll start with the cover page to our new products booklet, which the sales staff received in early December at our sales conference. Within this booklet would be the 13 products that we're going to discuss today, and this would be the cover page you want to look for when you're looking for the information from today's meeting. I want to start the meeting off, though, with defining what new product actually means. According to Webster's Dictionary, there are two different ways that we can describe something that's new. First of all, new could be something that has not existed before, so it's brand new. It's discovered recently or discovered for the first time by those that are recognizing something as new. So in the chemical world, our last new product defined this way was the active ingredient mesotrione, or brand name Callisto, actually discovered in the 1980s, first commercially sold in 2001. That's the last new compound that we have sold and that you have used on your farm. Nerisma insecticide, which is one of the new products we'll discuss today, will fall into this category of something that is new for the first time. The second definition of new would be something that already existed, but you're experiencing it differently. And the easiest way I think I can describe this is when we trade in vehicles. If you get the same make and model, but it's a few years newer, usually that newer model has features that the old one didn't. So we're working with the same chassis, we're working with the same frame, the same general look of a product, but you're experiencing it different because there's been improvements or additions made to it. All the rest of the chemical products that we'll go through today would fall in this category of new. So we're going to focus on herbicides primarily today, and it's my concern that we are losing some of our tools. We are overusing the group 27 HPPD chemistry, which that mesotrione Callisto product that you started using in 2001 falls into. There are other HPPD chemistries falling in that group that we're using as well on corn, not on soybeans, and we are not experiencing as good a control from those products that we used to recognize. So each year I start a list and take records of when I start hearing of issues across our corn and soybean production platform. And this last year it was June 5th. The typical thing we're hearing is water hemp is just not dying from my HPPD chemistry like it used to, irregardless of brand name. So this picture is a concerning one. This is a cornfield in near or Esterville, Iowa store, 55 miles west of Rake, where I'm sitting today. And this cornfield has a pre-emerge herbicide on it that contains an HPPD ingredient, and it's not working real well. It was this grower's intention to put down a reduced rate and come back to clean up a few strays here and there with another program. As you can see, that carpet of weeds is pretty thick, so we were disappointed in the control. Could it be blamed on the reduced rate? Potentially, yes. Could it be blamed on this was pre-plant incorporated, not sprayed pre-emerge? Potentially, yes. And it was also a dry year, so we didn't receive a lot of moisture to activate the soil applied herbicide. So we could shoot some holes into the concept here that HPPDs are just not working on water hemp like they used to. But it does lead us to believe, as an agronomy team here at ASMA, should we be using atrazine more? And how is it best applied? In the soil with pre-emerge herbicides or post-emerge? Should we be using more dicamba across our corn acre? And what other compounds really should we be taking a look at to make us happier customers after we have used a herbicide? It's worrisome to me that we're using HPPDs too often across our corn weed control spectrum. And these products from our supportive major manufacturers that you see here would be ones that contain them. Quite a few names you probably recognize. All of them have a group 27 herbicide in them. So we're counting on this group to enable us to raise a clean corn crop. We really can't get along without it across the industry. So by no means am I saying that we should stop using anything on this page here. What I am saying is, since we're experiencing some reduced efficacy of its control on targeted weeds, it probably means our rates need to go up. Definitely stay full rate as much as possible, and question whether or not we should be using reduced rates in a two-pass program. Site of action resistance is a way to um, see if weeds are responding to the herbicides we're putting on them. And back in the 70s, there was virtually no issues. There was one issue in the Pacific Northwest and one issue on the East Coast. But as you look at 2019 to 22 timeframe, there's 7 sites of action resistance in water hemp in the northern Midwest here where we're growing corn and soybeans. So a site of action tolerance or resistance means that there are 5, 6, 7 products here in the upper Midwest that have water hemp species that will not die from the use of those 5 to 7 products. So this slide would give us an evolution of our BT traits for rootworm control in corn over time. And although it's not a part of our resistance talk today in herbicide, I definitely want to put this slide up to say over the last 20 years, we're experiencing similar difficulties with a trait performing the way it used to when it was first launched in 2003. And you'll see how widespread that is across Illinois, Iowa, and Minnesota here on this slide. Multiple strains of resistance to rootworm BT technology exists today. Is it because we've overused it? Is it because we've kind of hit that 20-year magical number and things aren't working like they used to? Irregardless of the exact reason, it does point out that we need better management practices when raising corn that would have rootworm pressure concerns. So that takes me to our new product today. So the one that you haven't experienced before, and the one that could help us in rootworm control across BT acres or across conventional corn acres. The product is called Nerisma. It's from BASF. It comes from a group 30 insecticide of which none of our acres would have experienced up until now. It's a broflanilide class of chemistry. There's no other product like it in the market today in the upper Midwest. This gets applied in furrow with a minimum of 3 gallons a carrier, and its use rate is 1 ounce per acre. Its current formulation does not allow it to be mixed with starter fertilizer because it doesn't readily mix. So for its launch year here this year, we're going to need to install a dosatron unit onto your planter. And that's the picture of the rear side of the dosatron tank and mounting bracket that shows the pump there, that blue pump that sits up on the top. The tank on the other side it would come in a 15 or 20-gallon size, and purchased through Asmus would be $1,550 for that dosatron unit. You can see on the other picture, mounted on the rear of the John Deere planter, there are multiple places you could find room for it on your planter, with the base understanding that what we're trying to do is get this dosatron unit mounted onto the planter close to the fertilizer distribution hub that would take your starter fertilizer out to each row and inject the Nerisma and water combination into that distribution cap. So why do I say Nerisma and water? It's because the use rate of Nerisma being so low at 1 ounce per acre, we do need to cut it with water, at least a 1-to-1 ratio, to bring its use rate up to 2 ounces. Or if you'd like to, you could cut it 2-to-1, so to make its use rate 3 ounces per acre and have more accurate injection with that dosatron pump into the stream of fertilizer. Just recognize though that if you decide to go a 3-ounce use rate, your tank is not going to go as far as if we were going to do a 2-ounce use rate. Again, the 2 ounces would be a mixture of 1 ounce water, 1 ounce Nerisma per acre. To minimize the cost or alleviate the cost altogether for you to mount this on your planter, BSF does have an equipment program that we will review in the next couple of slides. Go to standupforyourcorn.com for more information, that website that is shown there. So this chart shows the common corn rootworm insecticides that we recommend and use today. Across the top would have our brand names, Nerisma from Iraq Group 30, and then Aztec, Capture, Force, and Index with their groups, Iraq groups listed as well. The 1B and the 3A groups, 1B would be organophosphate and 3A would be pyrethroid group of insecticide. Just a word of caution to you, the group 3 pyrethroid insecticide grouping is our most common product used in over-the-top applications in soybeans for multiple pests, primarily soybean aphid. So, understand if you're using any of those products that have a 3A in them on your corn acre in furrow for rootworm, you're using a pyrethroid year after year after year on the same land. Focusing back on that first column with Nerisma, broflanilide, active ingredient, 1 ounce use rate. It is a liquid product applied in furrow. It is a caution hazard signal name, which means it's not restricted use. So another major benefit for the use of Nerisma. Comes in 64-ounce jugs, 4 jugs per case. We did have a few ounces of this to experiment with in 2023, and through the growing season, some of our cooperators were considering applying it different ways than in furrow. So the question came up, potentially, could I put this with my nitrogen in a Y drop application timing and place it close to the row, let the rain take it in? And the answer to that is no. Broflanilide binds tightly to the soil, so it does not leach down into the root zone with moisture. You need to place this where the roots are going to be growing from, and count on it to stay there for the rootworm larvae protection. Here are the labels of the most commonly used insecticides in furrow today, and showing their signal words, Index being poison, Capture being warning, Aztec warning, and Force Evo being poison. Nerisma there shown as caution or precaution, so a non-restricted use product. No matter what type of word we have on the label describing it, we still want you to handle these with care, with caution, and with proper protective equipment. So this describes the rebate opportunity for you as a grower to get your equipment paid for that would be installed on the planter to apply Nerisma. The minimum use or the minimum purchase would be 300 fluid ounces or 300 acres worth, earn $2 an ounce or $600. The opportunity goes up to 18,000 over a 3-year period of time because BSF is trying to indicate to you that if there's more than you need, just the dosatron unit, maybe you want to install an entire starter fertilizer system on your planter or install a more advanced monitor in the cab to monitor your liquid application at planting time. Those sorts of pieces of equipment all count in this program for reimbursement. So for further questions to be answered, further information about this program, consult your AFS agronomist and salesperson. Our next featured product today is Certain herbicide from BSF, and this will be the first new product, as I was saying, would be something that is like trading in that vehicle. Similar chassis, similar body to something you've maybe experienced before, but a new feature that truly does set it apart and make it different. Certain herbicide from BSF is a combination of Zidua SC Group 15 and Sharpen Group 14. 14-ounce use rate per acre, and it just received federal labeled registration on February 9th, 2024. What's unique and different about this is the saflufenyl ingredient or the Sharpen ingredient is water-based. It's a water-based formulation that has been formulated to a way that it can be post-applied on your crop and not hurt the crop. The reason why we can't apply current group 14 Sharpen found in the product Sharpen, found in Zidua Pro on soybeans, found in Verdict on both corn and soybeans is because that style of saflufenyl would severely burn your crop. Certain is meant to be pre-emerge herbicide as a setup program to be followed by something else in your corn crop. So it's taken BSF researchers 10 years to figure out how to crack this code of a liquid encapsulation into the new solid encapsulation. Certain will be advertised as providing up to 8 weeks residual control or suppression of 79 weeds on its label. It is the first solid encapsulated herbicide in the market, and it does bring us a new use pattern for a group 14, which means it can be applied once the crop comes up as well. Specifically with Certain on corn, we can apply it up to V3 size. This slide depicts what's happening to protect that emerged crop from saflufenyl. So the active ingredient is encapsulated in those micro capsules that land on the soil surface with the active ingredient inside them, and then with moisture starts cracking and breaking and then releasing the active ingredient into the soil profile for its weed control purpose. The rake office here for Asmus Farm Supply received a few gallons to try in 2023. We have a number of acres of demo plots where we do trial new things coming to market. And we're blessed with some of the acres being populated terribly with water hemp, as you can see the picture on the left. So this was the plot at rake. 28 days after treatment, our Certain was applied pre-emerge the same day the corn was planted. And you can see the control, 99+% control of a population of water hemp, even that thick with a 14-ounce use rate. The slide on the left shows current formulations of Sharpen and what it would do to a corn crop. As I said, that will burn it to death. So not labeled for use in that way today. Certain on the right, safe to the corn crop, and also delivering the same active ingredient for weed control. So this would be a good time to point out the difference in the crystal encapsulated saflufenicil versus the current formulation of saflufenicil that is available to buy in the market. And that would be if you expect burn down of weeds in a no-till or a minimum till situation, strip till, and you're applying Verdict or Zidua Pro to that type of setting today, you will receive burn down of existing weeds in combination with glufosinate or glyphosate. If we take Certain into that type of application method, you will not receive any burn down of existing weeds. So there still will be a good place for current formulation of Sharpen and its tank mix products. Our next product in that new product category is a Dastrio fungicide from FMC, currently labeled for corn with an 8-ounce use rate. It is a three-way combination, having an ingredient from all three groups, group 7 and 3 and 11, providing a balanced management control in the curative and the preventative fungicide protection that we would expect to get on a corn plant. Pyro herbicide from Corteva, 60-ounce use rate per acre, a combination of Surpass NXT, Impact, and Stinger. Its target is conventional corn acres or seed corn acres, typically where no glyphosate is going to be in the mix. And we would add MSO to this combination, primarily to kick up that post-emerge grass control that the Impact or topramazone product will bring to the weed control expectation. You'll see off on the right side of these current slides that I do have a cell sheet picture there. I don't really expect that you're going to be able to read any of that. It's just for reference so that when you would download or print off the new products booklet, that this is what that cell sheet would look like. Next new product is Maverick herbicide from Valent, 32-ounce use rate, containing Zidua SC, Callisto, and Stinger. 14-ounce use rate would be a post-emerge use rate after a pre-setup of another product. So you might see some similarities or some things that are being repeated here in these new products being launched. And that is that we typically are going to have a group 15 and a group 27 and a group 4 for a balanced experience in weed control, both from a grass and broadleaf perspective. Repara HSMSO. So company-wide, we're going to be transitioning out of our Persist Ultra MSO, methylated seed oil, into this formulation of MSO. It's half the use rate at 8 ounces per acre. The biggest improvement with the new formulation of this MSO, it is APE and NPE free. So this change in formulation really brings crop safety to the table across multiple stages across a crop growth life cycle. We haven't had big problems with our current formulation of MSO, but adding the APE NPE free formulation or benefit to an MSO is nothing but good and safe and positive to go to something like that. It is a CPDA certified adjuvant, which means that it's research and its ingredients have been shared and approved by a board um, to know what's in this. It also contains a drift reducing agent to right size the droplets of the spray mixture that this is put with, to narrow our spectrum of large and small droplets across a spray pattern so that we get maximum retention and deposition of that spray solution on the leaves. Revitec fungicide from BASF, also a three-way fungicide from groups 3 and 7 and 11. 8-ounce use rate, primarily going to be used on soybeans, but it is labeled for both corn and soybeans. This product performs better on frog eye leaf spot and brown spot versus its cousin product Preaxer. This is not necessarily brand new for 2024, as it has been out in the market for the last 2 to 3 years, but supply constraints have limited the amount that we've been able to expose our customers to. So we're launching it this year, excitingly here, because no longer would supply be a limiting factor. Storin herbicide from Syngenta, a four-way mixture, 2 group 15s, 2 group 27s to be used on corn. Could be used at the 2.4 quart use rate as the full rate for a one-pass weed control program in corn, and then clean up field borders and pressure spots with a spot spray type concept, or you could reduce the rate of Storin and follow back with another post-emerge program. This product is primarily going to fit in that Acuron space, which, in my opinion, we are going to replace Acuron across the company with Storin and have you add your own atrazine for a more flexible use rate. And as you know, Acuron has atrazine in it, and you're kind of locked into a particular rate. So it would give us flexibility with the atrazine spike. You cannot follow the use of Storin with Acuron GT. The main ingredient here for giant ragweed control is bicyclopyrone, or in that listing of ingredients there, the 20 grams of BIR. The 20-gram rate of bicyclopyrone, or BIR, as noted here, is the full rate for the season across an acre. And Acuron GT at 3.75 pints per acre also has 20 grams of BIR in its formulation. So we can't double those two up. You could follow Storin with Halix GT as an example of a two-pass program of Storin down followed by another product. Viatude fungicide from Corteva is an improvement of their approach platform, which approach has been viewed as one of our better white mold controlling products in the marketplace at a high use rate, higher than normal. So what Corteva did to improve on that even more so was they went to Bayer and got the rights to be using the ingredient out of Proline, which by itself has pretty good white mold control, but it was limited in other diseases that it could control. So adding that with approach makes it a more broad spectrum fungicide that would happen to be very strong on white mold. So you're trading up, for instance, to a better white mold product, but also going to be better on frog eye leaf spot. Zalo herbicide will be the last herbicide that we'll feature today. Zalo is from AMVAC and is the combination of Assure 2 and Liberty. Use rate 32 ounces per acre, gives you 32 ounces of Liberty and 8.4 ounces of Assure 2. Assure 2 comes out of the Quasilafop family of volunteer corn and grass controlling compounds. And this is a higher use rate than normal. we would normally recommend 5 ounces of Assure 2 for volunteer corn control. So AMVAC has put together a good combination here with strength in their ingredients to be able to handle some of our tougher situations as time goes on. We would want to add AMS for sure, and the exchange crop oil or Repara HS MSO adjuvants to ensure that this product works to its best capabilities. But keep this in mind, as new corn traits are coming out, some of them have FOP tolerance to them. And by that I mean the trait in the corn plant is able to withstand a FOP herbicide application to it. So there will be opportunities in the future for you to use Assure 2 or Fusilade, another product in that FOP family, on a corn crop itself for grass control or grassy species control. Maybe Zalo would be labeled for corn at some point in time in the future. But keep in mind that the volunteer corn plants that the volunteer ears that would fall off those plants and grow in next year's soybean crop would not be controlled by Assure 2 or Fusilade. You would be relegated solely to one ingredient left to controlling that volunteer corn, and that would be clethodim. Brand names in the industry Select and Select Max, plus numerous generic names of clethodim. It would take that ingredient to kill FOP-tolerant corn. Here's the breakdown chart showing what's in Zalo at various use rates. 32-ounce use rate being most common, having 8.4 Assure 2 and 32 of glufosinate. So that ends our new product descriptions today. Did want to show you some data on how new products have come to market over the years. We're going back to 1980, and each 10-year period of time with the researching companies and the manufacturers down the left column here, you will see how the number of new products over the decades have decreased. In the current decade we're in, we have 23 active ingredients in development. The researching companies working with those compounds are listed here. Take note of how many new herbicides we have coming down the pipe, as signified by its blue bar there. BSF doesn't have any. Bayer has a few, Corteva, FMC, and so on. Japanese and other researching companies have more than some of our major manufacturers in the near term, and so we may be hearing more about those products as time goes on. Research and development is still a major part of many companies. Programs for you to be able to advance our weed control as time goes on. Over the years, it's taken kind of an average of an 11-year time period, and in the $200 to $300 million price tag to bring a new product to market. The new Environmental Species Act could add a year or two to that. So 11 to 13 years to bring a new compound to market is a large investment, and ones that I am still very happy that our major manufacturing partners are willing to do. You've probably heard that patents last for 17 years. So if it takes 11 to 13 years for getting a new compound to market, that doesn't leave many years left before their patent goes off. But just recognize here, and I have heard that the major manufacturing research company gets 10 years in the marketplace, no matter how long it has taken on the front side to get it to market for them to pay themselves back for that investment. Again, very important that we continue to have researching companies to bring us new opportunities for the future. So far, I've heard for 2025 a couple new things. One new, kind of starting back in that something we haven't seen before class, and that would be a Group 12 herbicide from Bayer in the Floridone family. Don't know much about it other than the way it would control weeds would be the destruction of pigment and chlorophyll in that growing plant, pigment inhibitor type of weed control process. Corteva will be launching a product called Inversa, which is their encapsulated Group 15, their Surpass type product, and would be similar to what you may have already used in the past. Bayer's Warrant is the encapsulated acetochlor or harness brand from them. There will be some difference in their formulation process for their encapsulation that will set Corteva apart from the Bayer product, and we'll learn more about that as the product is going to come to market. So if I have one theme to near the end of this presentation and something for you to take home is in 2024 and beyond, you need to spray earlier. We need to spray our compounds early in the post-emerge setting so that we have the best chance of controlling troublesome weeds, especially water hemp. Keep your foot on the gas and put a full rate of pre-emerge herbicide on. Follow that with a post-emerge program that has a layered residual product in it as well, so that time continues to offer residual control, but also spray that post-emerge pass on very small weeds, 4 inches or less, so that we can gain the best benefit of our post-emerge controlling compounds. I thank you for joining me today. The slide here would show how you can email me for access to the information that I have presented today, or if you're a portal user, you will find this in your inbox in your portal account. What you'll find there would be a recording of this presentation, as well as the new product program brochure that would describe these 13 products featured today. Thank you for joining me today. Have a good day.